Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for May 3rd. I almost said May 5th. I wanted to skip right over, apparently, May 4th be with you and go right to Cinco de Mayo. But no, May 3rd, Monday, 2021. The man they call Meathead, joined on a Monday morning by the lovely Linda Kay. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Meathead. It's gonna be May, or gonna be, that meme with Justin Timberlake anytime it's the month of May.
There's a whole bunch of other ones out there too. And Facebook memories is, again, probably the only thing I enjoy about Facebook is, when you said that one funny thing a year ago and then it comes back up again in your history. Did you know that May, I don't know where this came from, but Google it. May is apparently masturbation month. It is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
That's the first that I've heard of it. So,
right.
Okay.
Okay. But May the 4th be with you coming up, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, all sorts of good stuff coming up. So Memorial Day, only 4 weeks away, right? 4 or 5 weeks.
Yep, a couple Mondays from now, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about our sponsors. Linda, it feels like when you're here, I need you to tell us about our sponsor.
Absolutely. Collar and Elbow. Make sure to check it out. collarandelbowbrand.com for the latest in wrestling street fashions, if you will. Still got that spring sale going on. Got some new styles out there. And to save some money on your wrestling attire, make sure to use code Linda K, LINDAKAY, Linda K, to save yourself 10% off the latest and greatest at Collar and Elbow.
Awesome. I love it. Again, now that's your thing now. Anytime you're on, that you are going to pump that out there. That's Linda K, K-A-Y at the end there. So, Linda, we are going to talk about a show that is debuting this Thursday night at 9 o'clock. I believe it's on Vice TV. It is in season 3. It's a season premiere, and we've loved seasons 1 and 2. They've tackled some really great stories, and they're pretty much independent of WWE or AEW or whoever. They're just out there doing documentaries. It is Dark Side of the Ring. Part 1 of the Brian Pillman story has been put out on YouTube by Vice TV, and you and I have both seen it.
Yes. Wow. Crazy to see, and just stuff that brings back memories of wrestling at that time and just totally shows a completely other side that I was not aware of.
I've got some thoughts, and I'd like to talk to you about them, and we'll have our listeners who listen to this show Monday through Friday express their thoughts as well. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, share, whatever, but let's talk about the Brian Pillman story on Dark Side of the Ring. First off, Bryan and Stone Cold Steve Austin were really the first, I would say, entrant for Steve Austin to kind of be that big celebrity star, and Brian Pillman to kind of be the big star when they were the Hollywood Blondes. I mean, they started getting some notoriety. I love the fact that when they introduce the people that are going to talk on these subjects, hello, I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I was in this, and this. They make it very, very factual. I don't hear any feelings. I don't see any slants. I mean, everybody's got a slant. It's just how life is. But I don't hear a lot of feelings. I don't hear a lot of slants. And to have Steve Austin talk, there was a guy on there that did a lot of talking too. He was the former strength coach of the Cincinnati Bengals when Brian Pillman was attempting to make it in the NFL. He had a lot of feelings too. He must have been Brian's confidant, or maybe he was just really close to him. But your thoughts on Steve Austin's commentary? And again, the name slips me of the strength coach, but I know he was a strength coach for the Bengals when he was with Paul Bryant.
Right. I mean, seeing Steve Austin on the other side, normally or at least as of late, we see him being the one interviewing
about his career.
Right. So again, with the intro, hi, Steve Austin, and it's just great to hear them come. It's almost like seeing them in the outside of that limelight. This is me. This is who I am. And kind of an introduction, like, of course we know who you are, Steve Austin, but then it just takes you back a little bit, like, oh, this is the real Steve Austin. And hearing a story about someone who was his dear personal friend and someone who meant a lot to him, and just kind of puts on display another side of not just Brian Pillman, but Steve Austin himself and their relationship. Because when they were the Hollywood Blondes. I was still very young, and to be honest with you, I really didn't know much about Steve Austin until, he made it bigger into WWE. So seeing this other side and that other part, the history and, everything that Brian Pillman went through before I personally was strongly introduced to him, which again was WWE, just, based on my age and what I was able to see, during that time off cable TV. This was a lot of new stuff for me. And I knew there was a lot of trying times and tragedy in Brian Pillman's life, but to see it start from the beginning and the storytelling about it, it was very interesting to see, but also again had its a lot of downs during that time. And then his confidant, the strength coach, like
Kim Wood.
Yes, he had a lot of input as well, and you could tell that was definitely one of Brian Pillman's best friends, and or at least
he's one that encouraged them to get into the wrestling game.
Yes, so he seemed to have known pretty much everything about Pillman's personal life and had a lot to say and a lot of opinion to give out during Dark Side of the Ring as well.
Here's the thing that kind of caught me not off guard, not by surprise, but just kind of rang a bell for me. On A&E, WWE is doing their documentary series as well that started a couple weeks ago. This last night was the Randy Macho Man Savage story, and I see a lot of similarities between the Macho Man and Brian Pillman, where they ended up becoming their character off camera, outside the ring, where they were living the gimmick, I guess, to steal a term from Young Rock. They were living the gimmick, right? Brian Pillman was playing the loose cannon, and, his little run that he had in ECW, where he was just this insane dude that would go after people. I feel that it went a little far for him. And, we'll talk about Annie's Randy Savage thing later on in the week, but there's kind of a lot of similarities there between what happened with Pillman, what happened with Randy Savage. Obviously, Randy had a little bit more success. We're going to get part 2 of Pillman, I would assume, next week, Thursday, with part 1 airing this Thursday on the Vice TV proper, instead of the YouTube channel. But there is a very thin line, a very gray area with any world, any profession, anything. I mean, you talk about a Michael Jordan or a Ric Flair. To be the best, you got to think you're the best, and I almost said to be the best, you got to beat the best, but that's not what I meant. You have to do everything you can. You have to dedicate your entire life to it. You have to put everything you have into it. But where is that line? Where do you shut it off? When you come home, how do you shut it off? And it seems like with Brian Pillman, at least the way it was explained to us in this first part here, he had a hard time turning it off.
Right. I mean, he even had Steve Austin wondering if it was a shoot,
right,
or work, and that's quite the feat to achieve. But it's not the right word I'm trying to say. It's quite a lot to actually achieve, I guess, to make even your close friends wonder, is that for real, or is he really living the character, living the gimmick? But I mean, he definitely, again, as the way it was portrayed to us, I mean, that was named a loose cannon, and seems like from those close to him and his family members that seemed to be quite the case. And, we were left on this cliffhanger about, that looks like this accident happened with Brian Pillman Jr. as a baby. I mean,
current AEW star in the Varsity Blondes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he was, Brian Pillman Jr. was just with OVW. And I remember, me going down to OVW in January to do stuff for the Nightmare Rumble, that Brian Pillman Jr. had to be, taken off of that due to him having this, contractual obligations with AEW. So I just missed, my path, as far as being at OVW with, coming in, paths with Brian Pillman Jr. But, seeing him speaking on there, and then again, the end of part 1, that cliffhanger where he was a baby and there was, that accident. I'm like, wow, really good in to really see what part 2 brings us, as, we know certain, obviously, what has happened, and, but just things just coming back, what we saw, the controversy and whatnot, with the piece with, WWE. So can't wait to see part 2 this week.
Yeah, there's one other piece I want to talk about before we move on from this too. His original wife, the kids from a couple different families, and the woman that he picked up in Atlanta or Tampa or wherever it was that he started dating this woman, ended up marrying her. That woman and what she had said to Brian's original wife is that I would be a better, I mean, it was something, I'm paraphrasing here, I would be a better mother to your children, and even your parents think so, than you would, led to her taking her life. And the oldest daughter says, you know what? I think karma comes around and goes around. And the fact that she's living this very hard life, I hope she lives to 100 and has to live with this every day. That is some real drama that is very uncomfortable to watch, but it's just, the television is amazing to watch, but I feel for everyone involved.
Absolutely. I mean, the way it's put together in all of these stories on Dark Side of the Ring, anytime someone says something so strong and powerful like that, you do feel that, and how it's shown leading up to comments like that, you're just like, wow, like you really feel it, like you said, and it's crazy.
Whew. All right, so that will re-air again this Thursday night on Vice TV. I believe it's 10 Eastern, 9 Central. Also, we're going to talk now about Smackdown from last Friday night. The lead into this show was going to be, if Daniel Bryan loses to Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, he will be banned from SmackDown. The show opens up with Bianca Belair and the Street Profits in a six-person tag, taking on Bayley, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and Bayley against the former champions, Profits, and the current women's champion, Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair comes off as a star, right? Okay, There's no doubt about it. I still, as a fan, cannot connect with her.
I remember you saying you were waiting for her to be
to
a
win
champion.
Something.
Yeah,
right.
Claiming to be the best EST of WWE. So she did that, but okay. Do you think now that she will have a chance to officially defend that championship at Backlash against Bayley, you might have more
maybe
again,
what I hope that our listeners are picking up on is, one, yes, we report about it. We're quote unquote broadcast journalists, whatever you want to call us, but at the true crux of it all, we're just fans. We just want to watch a show, and I don't want it to be seen that, or said that, I'm not connecting to her because it's maybe a young African-American female. That's not it at all. I mean, because I connect to Sasha. I bought into Sasha right away. But I'm not, for some reason, not connecting to Bianca Belair yet.
I connect with her. I just feel that, it was a lot to build her to where she is right now since winning the Rumble, even before the Rumble. I mean, she went into the Rumble as one of the favorites. She won it, cool. But then there was just, the months of building her to get that title shot at WrestleMania. So now I think now that that's happened, I feel like there just needs to be another big storyline or big issue, a big thorn.
I think there's another obstacle she has to overcome for me to probably buy in, I guess.
Okay. Well, we'll get her and Bayley, and I know there wasn't too much of a lead up to this match. Well, I mean, I guess before Mania, her and Bayley had a little thing going on. Yeah. So we'll see how this one goes. I mean, I feel like she'll still hold on to the title for a while, but I just feel we're done with her and Sasha. Now let's create something new with her and just continuing her growth and her strength, if you will, as
Perfect.
the EST.
Okay. Yeah. The same issue is still going on, Linda. Natalya and Tamina defeat Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
The women's tag team champions currently, I'm sorry to offend anybody, but they're a joke right now.
I know we keep hammering down the same topic, same issue here, but
right.
So is it the lead up where, okay, they keep losing, but then come pay-per-view, they just dominate once again? Or is it just leading to us seeing their demise? And,
I don't believe them as champions, and I need a reset.
Okay. Yeah, a reset would be good. When they first became champions, I mean, I was like, felt like they were put together, and it was
they were put together because they were feuding with each other.
Right.
And then they
Which
were
was
this dominant heel team. Right.
Which was working. But right now, there's just so many variables that just, it's hard to make sense of it all with them being put forth as this dominant tag team, yet they keep losing as singles and now in a non-title match
Yep.
against who presumably are the number one contenders.
Yeah, Tamina and Natalia. Has to be. They have to be the number one contenders. If they beat them in a non-title, they have to get a title shot.
Yeah.
Let's talk about title shot. Big E took on Apollo Crews, but it ended by disqualification. Big E with the win, but does not win the Intercontinental Championship. There, I read something within the last week that SmackDown has really been on the up. I mean, the programs are working, the feuds are working compared to Raw. And this is one that I've actually really kind of been invested in Big E and Apollo Crews. And Apollo Crews is still the Intercontinental Champion, and Commander Aziz still has the Nigerian nail.
Yeah. This leads me to believe that Big E will get a chance again. Yeah, but Commander Aziz is definitely just another bump in the road. But
what was going on with your guy, Sami Zayn?
I was just going to say, we did get, because remember, again, he's still saying he's the real Intercontinental Champion, this time without the documentary team with him. But, I was thinking maybe, him saying, we're cool, that he could have snuck out of that ring without, suffering any damages. But as we saw, not too pleased for Apollo and Aziz. So yeah, I don't know. We see Kevin Owens out there too, and it's just
sure.
like, oh.
I tell you, I'm still over the moon. I love the production value of Aleister Black's Chapter 2 reality, and I love the story. Again, when he eventually makes his way back to the ring, I honestly want to see him in some squash matches. I don't want to see him taking on regular superstars. And the talk was to give him Kevin Owens again. We saw that last year, and they had a series of matches back and forth. Remember that somebody wants to challenge me, come knock on my door, and Kevin Owens went and knocked on his door. Give him like Shinsuke Nakamura or something like that, who's not involved in the title picture right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It'd be nice for Aleister Black to be put on a higher pedestal again and just bring on, kind of what they did with, who did they recently do that with? Squash matches every time. Sorry, drawing a blank right now. But I like that idea, especially, again, a fresh introduction to those who may not know much about Aleister Black because he hasn't been on programming in quite a long time.
And honestly, when Aleister Black does come back, I hope that he goes very slow and methodical. Very slow. I mean, because seriously, the read I have of this character that he's doing right now, this extension of him, is one that is very cerebral and needs to just take his time and do what he's got to do to pound somebody into a mat.
Yeah, but I do miss his old entrance and the old music because when they kind of changed
the chair or the creaking where he came standing up.
The creaking where it was vampire-ish.
Yeah.
And that song by Code Orange. I know if we want this slower, methodical Aleister Black, I think that previous entrance and music can still work because they changed his music for a little bit too. I'm like, no, they cut out that entrance and then they changed music, and now let's bring it back. Let's bring back that strong Aleister Black that we had before.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns defeats Daniel Bryan to bar Daniel Bryan from SmackDown. Now, Ceasro came out as well. Jey Uso was out. Ceasro was forced to watch helplessly as the head of the table hit the departing Daniel Bryan with the vicious concerto. Your thoughts on what's next for Daniel Bryan?
Well, we definitely got a strong display. I did really, really enjoy that match. It went long, but I enjoyed every minute of it. It could have been.
You were loving every minute of it?
Loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
Yes. But, it was a pay-per-view worthy match. Daniel Bryan still, I mean, obviously, Roman Reigns, strong champion. Of course, we expect him to dominate in his matches right now, being the reigning champion and long reigning champion. But with Daniel Bryan, we know he always puts on a great match. I mean, especially he's put on, so many memorable matches on Raw or SmackDown. The last other major one, remember him and AJ Styles for the Intercontinental title on Raw last year, and this one with Reigns, I thought was definitely a stellar match. And to see it come down to him losing again, like, okay, I kind of expected that. So I still don't think he's going to be completely out of the picture, though. But I do like how Cesaro ended up coming out, how Jay so came out, and he got Cesaro tied up in the ropes, and Cesaro had to witness his friend just take that concerto. And
now, hopefully, that little steam there of, having to watch Daniel Bryan be barred from SmackDown is what will catapult Cesaro, the King of Swing, to maybe a Universal Championship. Because that is a visual that we can continue to push if we have to for months on end.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it'll happen that soon, though. Maybe
no. SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's an image that we can use to kind of catapult him. Okay. And to be honest, has Roman Reigns been given a match at WrestleMania Backlash yet? And if he hasn't, does Edge show up on a go-back episode of SmackDown this coming Friday?
I mean, Reigns did a concerto, so that kind of made me think about Edge and, where he's been and what he's thinking, what he's seeing right now.
And again, this Friday is called the Go Back episode. What does it mean? I have no idea, but they'll probably put some funny graphics on. They'll probably use the old school WWF without the F, of course. World Wrestling, and then, maybe Vince McMahon will do commentary. Maybe they bring out the King. Again, by the way, folks, if you haven't been watching A&E's Hidden Treasures, that stuff is absolute gold right now. I really got a good feeling on the guy that's working to go collect this. His name is AJ, space on the last name, but this is a guy who's actually training in NXT, and he's a collector. So he's the one that Triple H sends out to try to go collect these, pieces of history. The last episode from last night was him working with the King to go get Andy Kaufman's neck brace, the King's original robe and crown from his debut in the King of the Ring against Bret Hart. And just amazing stuff. Absolutely. And Bill Apter, he gave up the neck brace for free. That is a man that just loves wrestling. That's fantastic. And they, I don't want to go too far into it, but all these episodes have to be building to hopefully an eventual WWE Hall of Fame museum.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely enough memorabilia.
Yeah,
to make that happen.
Okay, let's talk about Raw tonight. Linda, we try to shine up these turds. And I hate to say it the way it is, but we try our best to shine these turds up. But Raw has been...
You liked last week's edition of Raw, so...
I did. It's still absolutely hard to watch. It is hard to watch. It's 3+ hours of... like I said, I didn't hate it. I actually did like Raw. RKBro was my favorite part. Again, Randy standing there and having Riddle just circling around him. I've said multiple times that I love nothing more than somebody who's technically a heel, but it might be working towards being a face, legend, kind of stoic, having that buzzing bee going around their head. Again, like Matthew and I talked about this a bunch of times. Dexter Lumis would be perfect to just be standing there staring at somebody. You got like LA Knights or Cameron Grimes just going, Dexter Lumis. Or, having LA Knight go, LA Knight. Yeah, you big dummy. Say something. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I love, that's my kind of thing, really. So to watch Randy Orton have young Matt Riddle, who is Matthew Thomas's Matthew to watch.
Matt to watch, Matthew to watch. Okay, yeah.
That is the dumbest and most awesome thing I've ever heard. Matthew Thomas is Matthew to watch. It's awesome. It really is. But again, I look forward to seeing maybe an extension of RKBro. Really, my kids love the birds that come out of his sandals when he kicks them off.
Well, I think we both enjoyed just the slippers being shot out, but now we got the.
Did I ever tell you that my daughters especially love the slow-mo version because then I slow-mo my DVR?
And they do it as well. I'm not gonna lie, I've kicked off my slippers a couple of times.
Of course. I also am very interested and curious about where Sonya Deville and Charlotte is going.
Right. Which, I'm digging that. I like it, but it's also kind of pulling her away from being an official. with WWE, just because now she's part of the
She's showing a
storyline,
little
picking
favoritism.
sides.
The only thing that won't pull her away is as long as what she's doing with Charlotte doesn't stop her from doing her other stuff. You got to show her doing something else, but then she helps her friend. So
right.
All right. So we are making our way to WrestleMania Backlash. We're also trying to make our way to the PWR draft for the 2021-2022 season. The date has not been yet confirmed. We're still waiting on two of the players to decide if they're playing or not. You know, I want to defend my title, Linda, but, you know, I need everybody to step up to the plate.
Yeah, I mean, you know, since WrestleMania Backlash will be the first event of the new season, we've got some time to lock this in, get it squared away.
I think so, too.
Happen.
Let's make it happen, Captain. All right, so this is Monday morning. That has been Linda K. I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.